Hello everyone and welcome. This is Mr. E and today's lesson is solving one-step addition and subtraction inequalities. You have to separate them from multiplication and division for a reason we'll discuss. A reason we've already discussed. All right, so again, these are just like one-step equations. We apply the inverse operation to our constant. Some number b plus 7, 7 is our constant, is greater than 10. We subtract 7 from both sides. So our solution is a set of values, which is anything greater than but not including 3. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so to solve a one-step inequality involving addition and subtraction, we use inverse operations. We do not distinguish between positive and negative coefficients, and the reason for that will become obvious when we do two-step equations, but I'll just mention it a little bit here. I'm sorry, two-step inequalities. So an example is some number c minus 5 is greater than or equal to 15, or at least 15. We simply add 5 to both sides, and our answer is c is at least 20. Includes 20 and greater than 20. Now, if I add a negative coefficient to that c, then it becomes a two-step inequality, which we'll talk about later. So we don't separate our lessons by positive and negative coefficients for one-step inequalities because it becomes a two-step. Actually, same thing for equations as well. But anyway. All right, so let's solve this first problem. Some number x minus 1 2/10 is less than or equal to negative 5 7/10. We're going to add 1 2/10 to both sides. And remember your integer rules. I'm more negative, so my answer has to be negative. So my answer is x is less than 4.5. I'm sorry, less than negative 4.5. So I go to negative 4.5. I'm sorry again, less than or equal to, which is very important because now I have to fill in my dot. And remember, left to right, I'm getting lower. So that's why less than is to the left. It's always to the left. All right, so we have 4 1/3 is greater than x plus 1/3. Subtract 1/3 from both sides. We're left with 4 is greater than x, or x is less than 4, however you want to look at it. I find the second one is easier to graph. So we're not including 4, so we put a circle around the 4 and anything less than 4. 4 is greater than x is the same thing as saying x is less than 4 because we have the smaller end over here. All right, 4 is less than or equal to x plus 1 5/10. I'm going to subtract 1 5/10 from both sides. So I have 2 5/10 is less than or equal to x, which is the same thing as x is greater than or equal to 2 5/10. Because I have an equal sign here, it's greater than or equal to, I have to put a full dot on 2 5/10, and x is greater than that. So remember, sometimes it's a lot easier to graph if you just switch the inequality around. X is less than or equal to, 8 is less than or equal to x plus 9. Subtract 9 from both sides. Here I'm more negative. That's 8 minus 9, which is the same thing as 8 plus a negative 9, which gives me a negative 1. But I think it's a bit easier to graph this. Make fewer mistakes that way. Okay, exactly at 5 minutes. We're going to stop right here and come back and wrap it up in the next video.